Gode, sun yi kiɗa sosai. Bari koma baya, kusan yan baya ba su so a tambaye su ba. Wannan mutane ba su yi hira sosai sosai ba, ba su yi hira su kuma. To, ina zan yi yanzu, bari zo, ok, wani mutane ba su yi dariya, bari zo wurin su. Wai bai gaya mai sunan shi ba fa. To kuma da kai hira.
Alright, kun san amfani wannan abu ba ma so yan kasuwa ba da su zo da wani kala kawai suna kuma ba su kai. Yanzu kowa ya yi gulman tare ko ba haka ba. Yanzu ku gane waye ban awa yana shidan tukar kasa. Kina ne 80. Amma yanzu ko don zaman da mun fara kenan za mu kara wani zama. Sai zama cewa muna zuwa gani zan ce ma awa ina abokinka da ke fita ma ba mu gan shi ba. So ya kamata a cikin yin exchange number ba da sauransu tafiyan ta fara kenan ko ba haka ba don tare ne za mu yi aikin da na mu bane mu ne mun dai samu opportunity ne mun zo ko ba haka ba aikin da na ku ba na mu bane so without wasting much time ana raba wani paper wanda sun je boko da wanda ba su je boko ba yau za su koma boko paper nan tambayoyi ne kawai very brief question da duba kuma ka sani ba ba daidai sai ka bada amsa ba ka gane ba wanda za a ce mai amsan shi yayi ko ko bai yi ba kowa ma amsan shi yayi ko so ba wani ɗaikawa wannan tambayin na kawai duk wani tambaya ita da na ka ne za ku rubuta 50 your questions ladan alright so ladan zai karanta mana tambayoyi a turance da hausa okay Hadiza ko yawa
Ya kuke? Na gan kamar kuna jin sanyi sosai ko? To. Bari akwai sanyi kam sanyin ku. Bari dai mu ga tambayoyi da muke da shi baku a wannan paper din nan. So, don Allah dukan kuɗi mu sa hankalin mu tare.
kafin ta ci gaba akwai wanda bai samu ko ba
To, shi kenan. Yanzu tambayar mu na farko shine yaya ne ganewanku na maganar na wai na mace ko namiji kalma na mace na if we say how you take understand when they talk say this one na gender e be man or e be woman tambayar da ya fi baya kuma shine yaya ne ganewanka maganar nan da aka ce mace da namiji da al'adunsu yadda suke yin abubuwansu yadda suke bi da komai ce A ka gane sosai, B ka gane, C ganewanka ɗin dai ga shi nan bai sama ba bai kasa ba yana nan a tsakiya, bai dai ganewa ba cikakken ganewa ba. D akwai ganewa amma babu ganewa, baka gane ba. Sai E kuma baka gane kwata-kwata ba, babu ganewa, baka gane wane ne na mace ba, baka gane wane ne namiji ba, baka gane al'adunsu ba. In kun ci kin san ji mun ci kin sai mu je. Ok, ana ba ku bayo to bari in jira ku.
kun ga a fifa din ba rubuta suna ba, so kar ku ce wai za a zuwa sanni ne na cikin wai ban sani ba, so in baka sani ba ka sa a wajen wai baka sani ba, so da a the end of the day za a koyar muku duk abin da ba ku sani ba, so da za ku zo ku sani. Kun ji ko?
Kun gama wai su ba su samu biro ba ba har yanzu ba bari in jira ku. Na gama nan. Bari in kara kuma. Bari in karanta tambaya na farko kuma. Aka ce menene ganewanka a kan wannan na mace, wannan na mace. Kuma menene ganewanka aka ce wai wannan namiji ne ga al'adun shi, wannan na mace ne ga al'adunta, ga yadda sun kamata suke yin abubuwa ga yadda bai kamata suke yin abubuwa ba. Aka ce ka gane shi sosai sosai. B aka ce ka gane. C kuma shi ne ganewanka iri ba ganewa sosai ba ne, amma dai akwai ɗan ganewa karami, ɗan ganewa ɗin. Sai ki kuma baka gane ba, sai I kuma babu ganewa ba ɗaya, in ana I shi ne zero. Mun samu mu je ɗaya ne. Kamar yaya ne kake iya ka gane al'adu a garinka da bai kamata ba? Al'adu maza da al'adu mata da yake nan a garinku da ba ku gane ba. If it how you take know say this thing wey be about woman e good, this thing wey be about man e bad or e good. How you take know say this one suppose be like this one no suppose be like that for woman and for man. Now ya ce na sani sosai, na amfana na sani sosai. B kuma ya ce na sani, ban sani sosai ba ban na sani. Sai C kuma ban sani ba bai dame ni ba. Sai D kuma ban sani gaba ɗaya ba ban sani ba. E kuma wata ma ban ma sani wai akwai abin da ake cewa wai wannan ma mata bai kamata ba ko wannan ma maza bai kamata ba. Sai ki sai mu je ɗan question. Ana dai ganewa ko?
Yeah.
Muna da batu ne.
Sorry.
To shi ne
There's a
menene
camera.
ne
Okay.
da ake yi da maza suke yi mata suke yi a garin ku da ka sani. Ka gane ko? To in ka iya gane su sosai aka ce A don ka gane shi sosai sosai. B kuma ka gane shi sosai. C kuma gane wankarin yana nan kawai a tsakiya. Sai D kuma baka gane ba. E kuma kwata-kwata ma baka san abin da ake magana a kai ba. Kun gane tambaya na? Mu je ɗaya ɗin. Tambaya na uku ya ce, menene wannan abubuwa ɗin da namiji yake yi da bai kamata ba na mace take da bai kamata ba? Menene namiji yake yi da bai kamata ba na mace take yi da bai kamata ba a garin ku, a angon ku, a inda kuka da wai. Ya faɗa wai. Ya fi amfani a tura yara maza makaranta a kan a tura yaran mata. Wai ya faɗa kuma ya fi amfani a tura yaran maza makaranta a kan a tura yaran mata makaranta domin wai mata za su je su aure. Bi kuma ya faɗa wai namiji zai iya kwana da matar shi ko ta so ko wata so ba ko ta ki ko ta so. Kuma wai namiji zai iya kwana da matar shi ko ta ki ko ta so. Sai kuma namiji ya fi ya yi shugaba ya zama president a ba shi mulki ya zama kamar sarki a garin ku ko a wurin ku yani ko a ƙauyen a kan mamaci. Sai kuma ya faɗa wai yana kuma ya faɗa wai kamata mata sun yi laifi sai a duke a gida ke. In mata sun yi laifi sai ku kama su da duka. Haka ne za ku koya musu hankali a garin ku. Kuma ya faɗa wai kuma ya ce wai kamata na mace ta zo na ta ɗauka shawara ta ɗauka makara ta tashi da ita. Bari karanta number 3 nan kuma. Na ce menene namiji yake yi da ba shi da kyau? Menene na mace take yi da ba shi da kyau? Da kuka gane ana yi a garin ku, a wurin ku. Shi ne na ce ya kamata a tura namiji, yaro namiji ya je makaranta a wanda mace a gida domin mata za su je su yi aure.
That's ridiculous.
Ya kamata maza ne a sa su zama sarake, su zama president, su zama shugaban komai a garin ku ko a wurin aiki. Fiye da mata. Sai ya faɗa wai ya kamata in mace ta yi laifi a gida a tuke ta ko a koya mata hankali. Sai kuma ya faɗa wai a bar mace ta ɗauka shawara ta ɗauka makami abin da ta shi mataki. ko ka mataki ko ka shawara sai ke next question lokacin mai next question so that they can see to it. Okay, next question.
Allah.
Question number 4. Saurare ni. Saurare ni. Question number 4 ya ce, kun san doka nan da yake hana dukan mata da mugunta kuma a ta gefen mata? Tambaya kuma sun gane tambaya na. So, options. Ansa a kasa da za ku zaɓa daga shi ne A. Na gane sosai. Na san wannan doka sosai. B. Na san doka. C. Kai dai kawai kana nan a wurin ba ka sani ba ka sani dai ga shi nan. Sai E. Ba ka san doka ba. E kuma gaba ɗaya ba ka ma san akwai wani magana haka ba. Ya ce kun san dokan da ya ce wai kada a duke mata yana hana a duke mata yana hana mugunta ma mata kun san dokan can A ya ce na sani sosai B ya ce na sani C kuma kamar na sani ban sani ba D ban sani ba E ban sani ko kaɗan ba ban ma san ma akwai doka ba ma.
Amma ta ba ku amsa ba don ta lokacin wata shi ne wannan lokaci an sani sosai 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 kana ku rubuta suna ba ma so suna ba ma so rubuwa ba ma so kotu so sharp sharp Angela please can you help us collect the papers collect the papers all right so yanzu za mu kira wanda dai za ta yi muna bayani a kan abubuwa da ana kiranta yare ma a wasanci jinsi ko jinsi ce ko ta hanyar ana ake matsalar mama da mata ba ka san hausa ba so yanzu abin da za a yi shi ne za mu kira ita wanda ake kiranta barista Rebecca Sako ta zo ta yi muna bayani a kan abubuwan da ta shafi ganin jinsi ba da jinsi ko? Yes. So yanzu za mu bude za mu yi shiri a kan cewa magana da ya yi don cewa mun gane da magana ko ba haka ba kuma da mun zo ne wani tunanin da mafi kuma na ji cewa jo ne da sauran su ya mutu ba tare da siyasa ne da su da kuma yin maganar siyasa ne yanzu za mu yi magana wanda ya shafi da kuma da ke faruwa a jama'a ko ba haka ba in jiya da safe ka tashi ka hana su kuɗi abinci ka je wurin shayi ka sha shayi yau za ka tsami ko laifi ne ko ba laifi ne to a'a.
Kuna ji na? Mutane suna so moving distractions. Ana muji ko? An bani 40 minutes ne kawai kuma wannan session ne zai iya ɗauki kwanaki da yawa. So zan yi da sauri domin ku sami ku gane kuma na gane Hausa ku duk wanda kuke magana abin ana gwari ne. So ba ku gane wani abu ba zan nemi wani ya yi mana fasara don bear with us. So wannan maganar da zan yi akan jinsi akwai wanda ya san abin da ake kira jinsi ko zai iya ba ku ma'anar jinsi ko ba ku san meye jinsi ke ka ce ka sani meye jinsi namiji ko na mace ko haka ne ba haka ba haka ne ko to a turance akwai abin da ake kira gender zan yi magana akan gender then sai a yi magana akan yadda gender yana shafi ko yana affecting yana shafin mata abin da yasa an kawo mu a nan domin wannan project din yana akan abubuwan da ake yi da suke shafi mata da yana affecting yana kawo illa a rayuwarsu so gara yi da turanci sai a fasara domin na yi da hausa ba zan faɗa muku abin da kyau ba so za a ringa fassara mana can we have the next slide please so yau dai zan yi magana akan jinsi ko gender menene gender a turance kuma akwai wani abu ake kira sex da san ko gender da sex abu ɗaya ba ne don amma a cikin magana na zan faɗa ko gender da sex are the same thing they have the same meaning and then abubuwan da ake yi gender things that affect women negatively because of gender, practices da ake da su a cikin community, and then yaya ne za a iya a canja, in ma ana so a canja ne those things that are negative that affect women and girls, how can we change those practices? Shi yasa aka kawo maza da mazan kwarai men and boys to see how they can work with you to change some negative gender practices. Can I have the next slide, please? So kafin mu fara zan baku wani tambaya ne. A tambayar za a so ku faɗa mana menene irin abubuwan da ake yi in your community. What are the types of attitudes ake da su in your community? Attitude kuma shine characteristics. Na ce you have a bad attitude or you have a good attitude. Characteristics shine attitude. Attributes halaye nature abinda aka haife ka da shi. Kun gane ko? Tambayar da zan zo yi zan tambaye ku wanda irin halaye ne mutane suke da shi. Wanda irin hali nature shi da abinda aka haife ka da shi. What you are born with. And then culture. Culture shine menene al'ada. So zan muku wa'annan tambayoyi duk zan muku tashi a kan can we go to the next section. So wannan zan muku tambaya ne. Ana da 'yan kasuwan magani ko da 'yan jama. So ina so ku faɗa mana wanda irin halaye ne ake son a cikin halaye ko wanda irin abubuwa
Na farko dai akan so a samu namiji mai haƙuri.
Sunana Abdulfatah Abdulhamid. Ana son mutum ya zama mai tausayi. Jarumtaka. Jarumi.
That is like someone that has charisma, somebody that is courageous.
Mai neman na kan shi sosai sosai.
Hardworking.
Kuma da auna kawai.
You should be loving. Imani.
Empathy.
Wani ya ce compassion.
Somebody that has
Human feeling.
yes, exactly.
Mai taimako. Excuse. Sun ce no excuse.
Aikin hannu. Sana'o'i. Aikin hannu.
Hikima. Kuma hikima kenan.
Basira.
Basira ko.
Ladan. 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 Submissiveness. Patience.
Yau. wani kuma wai kyau zuciya purity kenan wani kuma wai hikima
ba lallai ya kamata mu ci gaba da bin su ba domin abubuwa suna canja. So akan wannan introduction ne akan maganar jinsi. Gane wai jinsi ba abin da yana nan daga farkon duniya za a ci gaba ba suna canja. Kuma duk abubuwan da muka gani kamar duk maza ne kawai sun yi mata ma sun iya yi. Wa'yansu ma da aka ce maza suna yi mata sun fi su iya ma. Wa'yansu kuma da aka ce na mata ne mun ga mata ma maza ma sun fi su iya wayannan abubuwan. Next slide please. So a ganin ku menene jinsi? Menene jinsi? What is gender? Ba wanda zai iya ɗauki. Kuma aka mai ku a pre-test ko aka ce what is gender? What is gender? Zaka ya ka bada definition na gender. Gender. What did you say? A turance ba wani zai iya a tafsir. Domin na Hausa is different from the English. So, kuce gender shine bambancin na mace da namiji. To menene sex? What is sex? If gender is male and different
Man and
male
woman.
and female, what is sex? Duk ɗaya ne? Duk ɗaya ne kuka ce ko that's the last answer. That gender and sex is the same thing. Okay, can we go to the next slide? So gender and sex is not the same thing. That's why ana confusing. Kuma mutane wannan development world su ne suna confusing namu. Domin kun zo training sai a sa gender sai ku sa F ko M. But gender is different from sex. Gender, yes sir.
Based on my understanding, gender is not a characteristic. Let me say a man, a woman.
What do you mean by characteristics?
That is what a man can do or what a woman can do. There are differences, just like the way we explain here. But
So you are talking about what they can do. Then what is sex? Okay. Gender is what a given society ko community ne su ce ga abin da ya kamata mata su yi ga abin da ya kamata maza su yi. And it's based on their understanding. Wai ba wai akwai wani dalili ba kawai sun zo da sun kaga sun ce mata ga aikin da ya kamata. Ina ga kamar sun ga because of halitta Allah ya halice kuma na mace zata haihu. So sun ga kamar reno yara aikin mata ne ba haka ba? So society has assigned those roles to male and female. They are just what society assigns as roles and way of behaving. I'll explain that later. Their roles, their ways you behave. So they have assigned women to behave this way. Yes, sir. The act of talking about your clothing. Who can tell when women should be funny? Women should be obedient. They are why should only women be obedient? Everybody should be obedient. But because they assign the role that a woman will marry a man and the man is the head of the house. So obedience is for women, endurance is for women because you'll be doing a lot of work at home. Sympathetic cleanliness should be for the woman to clean the house. They are just roles. There's no reason why they chose to give those roles to the women. But So gender is influenced by perceptions. Perceptions is abubuwan da an gani kamar koko expectations da ake so a gani a mata suna yi, maza suna yi because of their culture, koko because of the environment da koko because of the political terrain na wurin. So it is also because of the koko dokan kasan ta ce ya kamata mata su yi wanda maza su yi haka. And then gender is as a result of what we grew up to be, to see. So tun da an haife mutane an riga ana faɗa muku ke ɗaya na mace ga abin da ya kamata kina yi, ba a so a ganki kina ta waje, ba a so a ganki kina yin wannan kina yin wancan. Za a fara ana reno yarinyar ya mace zuwa ta zo ta yi aure ta dubi yara. So tun an haife yaro namiji za a fara koya mashi you are supposed to be strong. People didn't say those things, so we are going to look at it. So gender is what you learn about expectations of how you should walk, how you should talk, how you should act. So you learn it from your birth. Tun an haife ka za a fara kana gani ana practicing wayannan abubuwa ana faɗa maka as your parents learn it from their parents. So from tuni suna ta koya waɗannan abubuwa ana ta passing it. So as they are passing it on to you, they are being socialized. Ana kira gender socialization. Kana koya abubuwan nan from birth and it continues. But mun gane wannan abubuwan suna changing with time. Even though you learn them from birth, some of them have changed. They are not the same as we have. We see. Don yanzu nan abubuwa sun canja. Can we go to the next slide? So you learn these things, gender socialization, you learn it from your family. So they will tell you this is what you should do as a girl. Sai a ce yarinya bai kamata tana dariya tana huda da mutane ba. Namiji ya kamata strong, you should be bold. Ina ga namiji ma ko an buge shi ba a so ya kuka. Ba haka bane. Domin maza su da ake ce they should be strong. Women ana ce woman is the weaker sex. So na mace an ga tana kuka za a ce it's okay. Amma namiji in an ga shi yana kuka za a ce are you not a man? Ko tun yana ƙaramin ma ba a so ya nuna yana jin zafi. Ko abin ya zafe shi. Kada ya nuna yana jin zafi balantana ya kuka sai a mashi dariya a ce shi ba namijin kwarai ba ne. So you learn it from your family. And then you learn it from your friends, peers. You learn these things from your friends at home, or at school, or in the community. And then at religion now also influence some of these gender roles and passing on the message because wherever religion, abubuwan da aka faɗa a yi, they are also the same thing the addini suka faɗa. So from they influence what you do. Then gwamnati kuma ta dubi religion da al'adu sai ta kirkiro wa'yansu dokoki that also help to perpetuate some of the gender roles or gender norms. Then you also read some of these things in social media, you read it, or you hear it on radio or TV. So there's a lot of the stereotypes da ake da su suna ana same su in media. And then ka je aiki wurin aiki, you see some of these things ana practicing that a wurin aiki. So they also influence you. Your age, your religion, your tribe also affect you al'adu. They also help you promoting some of these gender norms and practices. And then akwai a makaranta kuma a social club. Kuna ga dukan ku a da I'm sure kuna social club ɗaya ko wani ko biyu ko uku ba haka bane. Kuna social club ko ba kuna association. A wurin ma akwai wasu abubuwa da ake bayarwa. To ko ana yi they they are all because of the things you learn about attitude, no matter the number. Can we go ahead? Tell the sorry, don't buy your machine. So gender is not only about women. Though. Most of the time, people are getting they say well, gender is about not say gender, say actually matter. Say actually gender equality. I say I matter the going. Gender is not only about women. It is also about boys, men, and girls and women. It's about everybody because it talks about attitude, mutane, expectations, and how you treat them. So it's not just about women, but it's about everybody. So abin da muke so ku gane a kan gender is that gender abubuwan da aka sa suna na ce gender is about the roles and attitudes da aka practices no matter the maza in a given society. These roles that have been given, the attitude that I can expect people to practice it, they have changed over time. So gender changes over time based on advancement. Yanayin duniya yana canja, haka ne gender roles suna canjawa. So it is dynamic and it can change. And it can also change because in that changes daga wannan class, in da ma kai da ma kana were poor and you move to educated level. Koko, you are now rich. Some of those roles, the time I say, you should be the ones practicing them. You no longer practice them because you have changed your class or educational level. And then gender roles or gender norms about mutane is not the same everywhere. What is expected of you as a former lady? You can get Tomomina. They may not be the same. It's just like culture. Culture mutane daban-daban ne go. So haka ne those gender roles and expectations they are different from each community to the others. That's why we don't forget about mutane suka yi magana kamar dressing. Yadda ake sa riguna sai a ga kamar a nan arewa ba za a ga maza suna daura zani ba haka ba ne bari kun je a can kudu maza suna daura zani it's their culture it's the expectations of people that if you are a man you can tie wrapper and wear a top but some mainly what do they call this men's blouse these tops are people in south senators.
Oh, that's how you call it now.
Okay, like senator.
Ndị Igbo call it Esiagu.
So the type of things they are different from each person, from community to community. So there are things that are expected. Come on, and now Arewa that there may be some communities. It is common taboo here. I say mata tuna noma. But if you go to communities, even in Southern Kaduna Kaduna Plateau, that's when I was very small. Look at their way. That time you see maza sun zo daga plateau yan Ghana wuri this around the area the mazajen su je suna zuwa ku yi noma ana biyan su kuɗi meanwhile a kauyen su mata ne suke noma amma a gefen mu matan were don farming maza ne sai su zo su nome matan ne su je su cire ciyawa but in some communities ba a yarda mata su kuma ba za ma yarda ba wa mata gona su ba so these things are they are different for different communities and so they change so gender intersects with other relationships like it affects whether it's your class your ethnicity your race your religion it's one way or the other it affects how you are related with and then we have gender stereotypes because mutane of their thinking about what you should do if they now those stereotypes sooner sa ku yi behaving one way or the other so let me bring out the stereotypes we have can we see the stereotypes yes so what I was expecting they are expecting men and women to do. Like they expect if you are a woman, you should not be aggressive. Aggressive, me a Hausance, wato ba mai faɗa. Then you should be dependent. They are expecting
Taurin kai.
number two should be dependent on the men. Shi yasa kamar in Hausa culture. Za ku iya ga mata ma maman yaro ko kakan shi sai a ce ba za ta fita ita kaɗai ba wai dole sai namiji ya raka ta. Sai ku ga ɗan karamin yaro 5 year old shi da wai zai raka grandma a nashi because an ga kamar she cannot protect herself based on those gender stereotypes okay because she's weak and she cannot protect herself. So those things are just gender stereotypes because akwai wasu mata that are very aggressive. Akwai mata da yawa that are not dependent on men or anybody. So all these things are just stereotypes because we think these are the expectations of women. They should be weak. They should be submissive. Don't actually when you are under a man, you have to be submissive. So women should be submissive. Women should be passive, home oriented. They should be. They should. They are easily hurt. They are emotional. Shi yasa in kuka kamar na mace is normal, but in namiji dai an gan shi yana kuka za a ce kai ba namiji kwarai ba ne. They are a weakly. Meanwhile, we all have emotions. They should be. Mata sun cika surutu, maza ba sa surutu. Women are gentle. Women should be sensitive to others' feelings. So all these things aka rubuta din nan kuka they are all stereotypes because everybody can do these things. So men are aggressive, they are independent, but it is not true because there are some men that are not even independent. They are not aggressive. The book I want to training, akwai wasu aka kawo su daga health training institution sai wata mata ita ne rector na wani school health abin da daga Adamawa su ce akwai wata rana da barayi suka zo gidansu mai gidanta ya gudu ya goye ita ne ma was confronting barayi din sai da suka yi surutu aka kore barayi kafin mai gidanta ya fita. So these stereotypes they box mutane both men and female too. So za su iya su fita su yi achieving potential nasu da kyau ba because they are expected to behave one way or the other. So aka ce men should be dominant, active, worldly, not easily hurt. Ai maka rasuwa kana jin zafi an ce kada kai kuka na taɓa gani akwai wani chairman namu na lauyoyi da ya zai rasu sai aka je bizira sai ga kanin shi yana ta kuka sai mutane suna ce biya man sai ya ce kuma mutum ya yi kuka shi yana jin zafi ko ce mashi kada ya kuka haka ne ma kuma an yi rasuwa sai a ce kada ku yi kuka you bottle it in and it's affecting you emotionally and you don't know you may have heart attack you may have hypertension these things are negative impact of those gender norms the expectations on people men are not talkative sai a ce maza ba sa gulma haka ne ba ba gulma ba ba surutu wasu mazaje ma an gan su yadda ba kuji suna magana sun fi wasu mata so all these things men should be cruel should be blunt not nurturing shi yasa sai a ce ba za a ga namiji yana bugun yara a gida ba it's not his role but that is not true because anybody can do these things can I have the next slide please ina sauri ne so now explain what gender shi ne expectations na mutane maza da mata based on what your culture or your status or religion ascribes to men and women yana iya canjawa based on advancement or development ko yadda mutane suka gani domin wa'yansu ba an ce su yi wannan a sun masa sun je kasan waje sun ga ba a yin abubuwan don duk abubuwan nan kun je kasan waje ba a bin su kun gani ko so gender changes based on your status your religion your class or where you are meanwhile sex baya canjawa sex is yes akwai male and female sex is about nature Allah ya kaga maza da mata ku manta wai wasu yanzu sun ce wai sun ji kamar an yi mistake ne ya kamata da namiji ne wai yana ji kamar wani dama maybe da shi na mace ne sai su je su sha wani magunguna su yi wani abin da irin su bobrisky su je su samu nono su fara yin sa rugunan mata irin wannan ba na Allah ba ne. Sex is natural, it's biological difference, male and female. You cannot change it. It does not change. Ko ga ga dama ka je ka yi wani operation na wani. Kwaskwarima na mace ta je ta sa a sha magunguna steroids ta yi muscles kamar namiji. Ba za ta iya ta ba ma na mace ciki ba. Kun gane? Namiji kuma ba zai iya ya je ya haifa yara ba. Ku manta akwai wani mutum da aka ce wai ya canja. Initially shi na mace ne sai ya je canja wai shi namiji. Sai ya haihu because mahaifar shi is still there. If they didn't close the mahaifa, that was why he got pregnant and bore a child. But there is no man da aka yi sex change yana da breast that gave birth ba kuma this change da suke yi da is affecting them ba a faɗa ne some of them suna committing suicide yana affecting that psychologically because it is not natural so sex is natural everywhere in the world there are men and women you cannot change it no matter what you do that is the difference gender is what society says you should do, and you are doing. Sex is what God gave birth to you. You are male, you are female, and there are differences. You can identify a man and you can identify a woman. So they have internal sex organs. That's how you differentiate male and female. And then they also have some external genitals. Women, they have some hormones that affect the way they behave. So all this sex is just a way to differentiate a man and a woman. So quickly, can we look at the differences again? Next slide. So these are the differences. Like I said, gender is what society says you should do. And it can change from time to time. It has changed. We have begun to see where they used to give roles of housekeeping for the women, men are sweeping. Akwai wayansu ma a gida ba za su yi shara ba, amma aikin su messenger ne suna shara a office. They are doing those things that society said they cannot do. Akwai mata ma da aka ce kada su yi wannan su ma suna fita suna je suna yin abubuwa. So gender changes. It is different from what is practiced here is different from what is practiced in other societies. And then sex is universal all over the world. You are male or female, it does not change. So who got a difference? Then another meaning for sex is when they have what they call sexual intercourse. It's also because of people, when you ask them what is sex, they will tell you it's sexual intercourse between a man and a woman. So we can also add it other sex. But sex just means male or female. But we normally, you see if you attend meetings, they will put gender there. That is not the best expression. It's supposed to be sex, male or female. So can we go on, please? Another difference. Sex is what your body is. Gender is what your mind tells you what your body is. So your mind is telling you a man is the head of the house, so he should be bossy, he should bring food to the house, a woman gives birth, so she should take care of the children and clean the house. So it's what your mind is telling you from what your sex is that you should do. Can we further go on? So we're going to do this exercise quickly to see whether you understand what gender and sex is. If I ask you to tell me whether it's gender or sex. Women give birth to babies, but men don't. Is it gender or sex? Sex. Why do you say sex? Because it's biological. Yes. Little girls are gentle, boys are tough. Gender equals sex. Gender equals it is behavior because uh, boys can be gentle. We have some very gentle, shy boys. Then we have some tough girls. Some girls are tough. Well, Kusani, because of our gender stereotypes, if a girl is tough, say I say when she's a tomboy. Kwenima, I go to my side of a man woman because the way her physique is hefty, hugger. I tell her to be a hugger. So, Nina Vegana, we used to give people names. And so, when they would get a one woman, I go to a Nazi. You know, when you Nazi, actually, so she's like that, we call her Nazi. So, women can breastfeed babies, men can't. Sex. Because when they say, you know, no, you may have breast, develop breast, you can take some drugs, but the milk will not be coming out. So, men's voices break at puberty, women's don't. Who says it's gender? Men's voices break at puberty, women don't. It's sex. Because as we are growing into from adolescent, mother, millions will change that. Becomes deep labor ahead. But it doesn't change for women. Women, what they do is they now start menstruating. Men, their voices will change. They will start growing big shoulders and so. So it's sex. It's natural. Women have long hair. Men have short hair. Who says it's sex? We're always debating this one. Who says it's sex? So who says it's gender? Why do you say it's gender?
Yes. Men also can, their hair can grow with the left leg.
Yes. Because in this part, we expect everybody to have short hair. But as soon as you look at the social, before now, look at the guys in Togo, okay, back in Bazaar, and this guy. In fact, even now, even the security agencies, they profile people with this bushy hair. And all these hairstyles, like either you are Yahoo or you are a drug addict or something. But you go to other countries abroad, they keep long hair, men keep long hair, so anybody can grow their hair short or long. But because of our expectations that men should keep short hair here, we think that it's normal that if they see you with any long hair or plaiting your hair is abnormal, but it's not. They're all gender stereotypes. Women have weaker sex needs than men. Is it gender or sex? It's gender. Because they feel that women, in fact, women shouldn't go and ask men for sex. Even if it is your husband, you feel like having it, you should just be there. The man is the one to make the moves. So even if you feel like it, you will stay, oh, you can't say anything. But it's the men that can approach the women. So in their own gender stereotypes, men do not need tenderness and are less sensitive than women. That is gender. To have healthy babies because there are some women that don't have breast milk and they have to feed their children with artificial baby formula. So it is a gender expectation that every woman must breastfeed. And I think women should breastfeed, therefore they should stay at home. It's also gender because you are breastfeeding, you should stay at home. No, you can still go on and carry on your life. Some people might so that it's safe to massive milk into add preach about my if they do that in the clinical, I mean clean way, but that's a good infection, but it's very most drivers in men are most drivers are men. Is this gender or sex? Gender. Okay, so I think you have understood the difference between gender and sex. Can we go on? Next slide, please. So when we are talking about gender, actually we're going about gender equality and gender equity. Well, once put an entity gender equality, says it's not possible. Says you citing religion to change, it doesn't allow. So I'm going to give you the difference between gender equity and gender equality. And why we're talking about empowering women, gender equality to empower women, we need both gender equity and gender equality so that we can have a just society, so that we can advance, or else we will keep moving, staying in one place. Bad progress. Equity means the quality of being fair and impartial. That is equity. When equality is state of or quality of being equal, when they say equal, then if there is any opportunity, they should give the same opportunity for everybody. You are all equal because we are God created us all equal. So we should have equal opportunities. It involves treating every individual in the same way, same manner, without difference. It does not consider the needs of the people. However, with equality, some people may need more portion than others. That is where equity comes in. Equity looks at, yes, we are equal, but there are some that may not need that thing. They are wearing the they need more. And I will show you an illustration. Can you go next slide? This we want liberation, but we want to transform from being there's gender inequality to gender equity and liberation. This is equality. Kungawa na amatu suna so su kalla wannan wall din. Sai aka ba su the same size of kwali ba, and they are not the same. Kun gani wannan dan mutum. Ga wani kuma shi in between. Ga wannan dogo din. They gave them the same everything, the same equality they don't. They gave them equal rights. Despite what they gave them, this man cannot see. This one, he doesn't need it. So he's watching. So everything is one that doesn't need it. Because he doesn't need it. This guy, he can see with this little, while this man that couldn't see before, should double, so he can see. That is equity. And most of the time, mutane kawai sai su ce equality about ma kowa. Meanwhile, some people don't need it or they don't need much. So we need to understand. In ana sharing wani abubuwa ana sharing kaya anguwa, we should have in our mind, we should have a gender list to see who needs and in what quantity. Ba wai kawai a zo a ba ma wa'yansu masu karfi ko ko suna da shi already sai su ma a ba su. Kusan selfishness na mutane. But what we want is for everybody to be integrated so that we don't have to rely on peanuts. We want everybody to be liberated so that they can share in our common resources in the country. And then, so when we are talking about gender equality and gender equity and women's empowerment, we want women to be brought to be able to participate in Abubuwa de Keparua. And gender is one of the things that makes it possible because they are being held back by those gender expectations, and one of them is violence against women and girls. Can we have the next slide, please? So all these other things, gender terms, masculinity is what those qualities that we perceive that makes you an ideal man. Femininity, those qualities are the visions or characteristics of girls. So they normally use them. Gender division of roles. In the society, they have already divided gender roles for everybody. Next slide, please. Let me hurry up. Okay, patriarchy is also the system in Nigeria that we're practicing, and in some other countries where the men are the primary holders of power. Men hold the power. That's why some of these things are happening because they hold power in the community, at home, and everywhere, and they determine what happens. So that is patriarchy, and that is what we are practicing in Nigeria. Next slide, please. I want us to go to So gender division of labor or roles. So the productive role is the roles both men and women can actually participate, but we see that those roles where people produce goods and services, most of it is being done by men. So the ones that can provide food for you to be self-sufficient is mostly the men. The women can participate in some of those roles, but those roles that some of the women take, Bama bills, come on, normal, same women come on, normal men will participate, su ne suke san amfanin gona ba haka ba, su ne suke da gonan ma, mata da wani go su cire ciyawa su je a yi harvesting, su yi processing, mazan sai su ne su je su san da kayan sababbi. The productive work, most of the work now, duba yara, is mostly women, and it is unpaid. They don't recognize that as anything. But in an ce an ba ma ana biyan mata for the reproductive work, because in mata sun yi strike sun ce ba za su haihu ba. What will happen to this world? In an ce no more giving birth. Duniya ya gama kenan. Because there will be no new generation. We will just give birth and will not take care of them. Can the men be able to cope without the women? No. But most of this work is not even appreciated. And so then community work, most of it, when you are going to say about community, is both men and women. But when it comes to taking decisions, we see that men are the people who are the leaders that take those decisions. I hope you understand. Please, next slide. So gender socialization is the process. I've already discussed this one. It's just a summary. Gender refers to socially determined roles and responsibilities, behaviors and characters. And it is due to gender socialization what you have been brought up to understand and to practice from birth. Next slide, please. So I mentioned power. There is power, the ability to influence yourself or others. And we see that there are different types of power. The power comes in when we are talking about gender because I mentioned patriarchy, where the men are the ones that determine whatever. So men are the ones that have the power. And because men have more power than women, it affects women negatively. So I quickly mentioned there are different types of power. Visible power that you see among those in authority, deputy, mayor, governor, chairman, all these positions that people have are visible powers. Then there are hidden powers that can be from individuals or from identity, or from culture. They are the same with invisible because they affect you. You don't see the power, but it affects the way people behave, especially Adini. It affects people a lot. So people express power differently. I'll just leave just to say that there are unequal power relationships. Men have more power than women, and because of that, they are able to do a lot of things that affect women positively and negatively. Can we move forward? I want us to come to violence. Yes. So the main awareness Muslim Magana is about violence against women and men. Can you touch the next one? Okay. No. Move forward. Okay. Move this. No, go back. Okay, go forward. Let me see. Where is violence? I want us to go to violence. Then come back to this ones. Um, so violence. That's what I don't know how much time I have. Violence is any behavior that hurts someone. So violence is any behavior that can hurt you or anything that concerns you is violence. So violence is any act that makes people feel bad about themselves. And it can be through magana, words, actions. Ko action ba ko mutum ya yi magana ba. Kun san kamar wani lokaci wani ma magana ba zai yi magana ba, but you understand the person is saying something. It's passive communication. Kun san communication is not just magana. Communication can be non-verbal. Kun yadda? Ko idon yadda kana kallon mutum, you can idon ka duba idon ka yadda yake, you can communicate, you can understand the message the person is passing. Whether the person is happy with you, it can be your body language. Kamar wa'yansu da sun zauna kamar kai haka, the way you can sa hannunka haka means you are not happy with something or you are not comfortable. So if you sit the way you are sitting, either you are sitting comfortably, you are relaxed, it's saying, I feel comfortable about here. Koko ka frowning fuskarka, I'm not enjoying what he's saying. But when the mask yata, I can't see your faces to be able to interpret your body language. But so there are any acts, whether they are spoken, they are not spoken, or physical acts that happen that affect people. So it can affect you, it can cause physical harm, it can cause psychological, social, or environmental damage to you. So generally, any act or series of acts that undermine the health and well-being of an individual is violence. So today we are talking about violence against women because we have identified that women in your community are victims or they are suffering one form of violence or the other. So let's see the different types of violence. Physical, shine wanda mutane sukan gani most especially kicking, hitting, ana amfani da sanda ne da wani abu wai sun fara fada, especially domestic violence, mata da namiji, wannan sa ɗauka wuka, wannan ya ɗauka sanda, ko a ɗauka wani abu ma har a kwashe television a yi me da me. That is a form of violence. That is physical. A ja gashi ne, a karya kafa, a yi abubuwan nan. They are all physical. It can be sexual. Sexual means harassing a man or a woman, but we are talking in this place about women rape, sexual abuse, and it's very popular amongst Ekasua, going Kajian chicken Kasua, so when they say my corner, go away, say, you're going to say, come on, okay, no, go by. There are all forms of sexual abuse or sexual harassment. Touching you, saying something about your body is all sexual harassment or sexual violence. It's not physical, but it's talking about yourself and it's hurting you because that can make you are feeling psychologically, you are feeling little or not even dignity that you are not already emoji. Then there will be violence. This is very, very common between people. Verbal bullying, intimidation, threats, surveillance, isolation, or even humiliation, confinement. It happens in families. Akwai wasu ba za a yi dasu ta waje ba, ko kuma sai a kai wasu waya mata, so that you don't communicate with your relatives and friends. Ba za a yi dasu ta kawo irin wannan kule ba, the one that is described by isolation. Then that is emotional. Ko a hana ku cin abinci, a hana ku abinci, and other things is emotional and psychological. And it is very, very dangerous. It's the worst type of violence. That is psychological or emotional violence. You cannot see it, you cannot feel it, but it affects the person psychologically. So, and you know that anything that has to do with your brain, that is why they will slowly be dying from high blood pressure or depression, and they can do things. So when to go, soon as they get theory, kuna jin labarin za a ce wani mace ta kashe namiji yana ga bacci sleep ko aka mai da take because of the man's man. Akwai wayansu da sun zo sun yi wuka sun kashe mai gidan yana bacci because they have been bottling up the violence. Then economic is taking one's money. Ko ba a hana na bace tana so ta yi kasuwanci ko ta je ta yi aiki a waje an hana ta. So controlling you, denial of food and other items, they do that, and then control access to health, education, and employment. They are all economic violence because you cannot be dependent. It means you are forever independent. You are forever dependent on somebody. So it's a form of violence, economic violence. These are just a few examples to be cursing property. Next slide, please. So, let's move about this. This type of violence, we've already mentioned some of them. They are direct, some of them are due to laws and practices. So, violence against women and girls, we have a definition by the United Nations. They said violence against women is any act of gender-based violence that results or is likely to result in physical, sexual, or psychological harm or suffering. Now you can now explain that. So this is just the formal explanation. Just to say that it is this violence is because of their gender, either because of those gender roles or gender expectations, that this type of violence happens to women and girls. But Albishinuku, it is not. If you perpetrate those type of violence, you can be charged to court. According to Nigeria, and Nigeria Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. Kaduna State, and Nigeria Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law. So in ka aikata wa'annan types of violence, wanda shi ma criminal law in Kaduna State, all those types of violence gefe gudu kuma tun da dama kuna tunani dama ba offense bane yanzu a back law din nan su offense ne wanda ana hana mata especially matan gida matan aure sai a yi isolating nasu a hana su magana da iyayensu da ƴan uwansu da abokanai a kulle su is an offense any form of emotional violence verbal or psychological stalking shi ne kana a satance kana bin wani kana monitoring inda mutum din ya je is also an offense substance attack irin nan da ake zo a ko a sa ma mutum ruwan zafi ko acid yana faruwa duk shi ma abin is an offense. Political violence during elections, before and after elections, ana campaign na irin su talk suna attacking mutane is also an violence. Then violence by state actors. Kamar wani abu ya faru ko an kira police ne, civil defense ne, su zo su taimako. Some of them they sexually harass women and girls. They take advantage of them. Kamar ma ko sojoji ma sun je peacekeeping akwai su da yawa kamar abubuwan da suke faruwa a wuraren boko haram north east din da an kai su wurin sun sa ma 'yan mata da yawa ciki akwai yara da yawa yanzu da ba ma san number da an haifa from those people that went on peacekeeping mission ba akwai wata mata ma da tana a camp wani soja domin ta rinka samun abinci kusan abincin ba da yawa ba ne so somebody that will help you because he will help her get food so yana ta kwana da ita ta haifa musu yaro suna shi ma ba ta sani ba she only knows the name they call him in the camp and that is not his real name da ta je ta yi kara aka ce me sunan shi ta ce this is the name they used to call him in the camp we don't know they have to be doing investigation track the mutane ko mutane mu ba su je peacekeeping da su je su Nigeria akwai wasu ma da an doka ne ma a military da abin da if you go on peacekeeping you are not bringing any woman amma wasu ma a nan Kaduna sun kawo mata sun they have to hire a house for them and ba za a yi da su shiga baraki ba so they have to go and look for women outside the barracks and keep them when they came back from those type of peacekeeping operations, let's like this. So state actors, they are also capable of doing these things. So violence against women, why are we interested in violence against women and girls? Yamuna that every 1 in 3 women, so kaman duka in ka ga mata ɗaya biyu uku, they are affected in one way, either physically, sexually, emotionally or economically affected by violence. Kuma ku yi tunani, I'm sure na bincika ya some of the perpetrators, God forbid, let me say God forbid. But one way or the other, you may be a perpetrator. So women are affected, and it's almost every woman is affected one way or the other by violence, and it's affecting their health, it's affecting their ability to contribute to the development of the country, and it's affecting even how they relate to people. So we are interested in seeing that there's a reduction of it. And for you in these communities, you have been affected by conflicts. There are women who have lost their husbands and they are now the breadwinners. That our gender. Who are the breadwinners? Who are the breadwinners? Mazaba, to answer any conflict or attack. And then we have women, their husbands have been killed, and they are automatically the breadwinners. And the society didn't prepare them for it. So they are affected. It's also a form of violence, and they need to help them. There are some that, yes, deliberately I must be or they are being abused physically in the community. matter everybody. So it's affecting women, and we need to deal with it because it's like a disease. In fact, it's an epidemic. When you COVID-19, the number of people affected COVID-19 put an end on sun kai 2 million a Nigeria, sun kai 1,000. Among women who are affected by violence, women and girls, there are millions. Acquire 6 million women in Nigeria. 400 of them are affected by one form of violence or the other. So it is something that is a very serious issue. But we are just downplaying it because we feel that Tuneshike was Mutuba and many people died in the process. It's affecting them a lot. So this violence happens even before birth. It happens before birth. I always give an example of myself. Mama mata. Society, they don't respect, they don't regard women as anything. They prefer men, boys, because they will take the family name will continue, they will take care of the family. So when I was in number 6, and only one boy inside those 6. So they were saying, what these girls, what are they going to do? They were so that my mama go read they go. And I think because of that, my mother was just so that I know as I'm not picking. So that I was, and it's very dangerous because I can't wait to listen me. So that I just to get a boy. The second one, in fact, by the time that the number 6, beginning the idea outlet, she still tried to get the 7. She in the 7, Sahel will not meet him, but she died in the process because of this male child preference. So all these things they happen before birth or at birth, and it continues throughout the life of the women. And I can tell you, this morning when I was coming to this place, I was there was one case and I radio and Victor. When you to so in Amri, let me just say because I know their culture. Yeah, but I don't know the details. The little I had kamar maybe bai biya ba amma ya zo ya kwashe yara guda kamar 3 ne sai fada ne da matan sai ya kwashe yara ya tafi da su kauye a Enugu. Matan ta je ta report, aka je police, aka kama shi aka kulle. Dole ne kusa da yaran. So kamar jiya ne ko yaushe ne ya dawo da yaran. An fasa shi ya dawo da yaran. An karaman 3-year-old yarinya. Da ya kai su bai sa su a makaranta ba ya bar su a wurin maman shi an ce wai akwai cousin. That cousin was sexually abusing that 3-year-old girl. Mama ta ce yarinya din is the ta kai ta gida, they found it difficult ba ta iya ta fisari ba sai aka ce ai wai cousin nasu ba san ko wanda shekara ba ne was fingering the girl. So her female sexual organ an ganki ciwo suna nan a wurin. So it's another case. Meanwhile an riga an sake mai gidan ne ko baban yaran. So that is a type of, so from birth kuma akwai yara da yawa that are being killed. Sai mutane su ce dressing ne yana sa ana raping mutane ba dressing ba ne. So it happens to you for women and girls throughout your life. You are a victim, and then when conflict comes, you are also victims of violence because you can relate the women as targets just to annoy the other group. They can rape your girls and women to annoy you, or they can impregnate them like what some of these terrorist groups can. Deliberately, so they are raising a group of yara for themselves. These terrorist groups, so that deliberately impregnating women so that they will have offspring. that they can now come and take away, go and indoctrinate them to continue their terrorist attacks. Next slide, please. Before we go, I want you to give examples of the types of violence against women and girls in your community. Let's have three from this side, three from this. The other. Three types of violence against women that happens in your community. Wa zai magana, wanda bai magana ba ko? Yare ko? Yes. Don't say what somebody else has said. Any other type? Duka mata, domestic violence, or beating girls, attacking girls ko? Kamar ake yi a schools ma ana bully ɗan mata, kina tafiya ta kaɗai a hanya they can pull you to the side. Any other type of violence? Bene? Banjiba? Darasi? Okay, zarafi. Okay. So those are the type of violence that you have in your community. So we're not talking to you like that, but they are happening. But some, but those those are just wrong. When you see, I will say, in car, but that's a book, ko iyayenka. Some kuma suna jin tsoro sun faɗa gaban iyaye sai a ce ba zan yi aure ba. So ba a faɗa. So we are telling you so that you sai ku buɗe ido yanzu ku gane and help these women and girls. Next slide, okay. So what I've already explained is because of the gender socialization. That is why some people are violent. Where domin an koya musu a man should be bold and strong. So rather he can use his power on the weak, and most of the weak are women and girls. They don't respect the rights of women and girls. So some of them they exploit matter because they don't respect their rights. If they respect them, they will not do that, especially sexual exploitation, forced marriages, unequal access to education, health, and economic opportunities. Mutane are independent, sun san rights and wrong, sun san rights nasu because they have access to these opportunities. You cannot easily abuse them because they will not even keep quiet. Poverty is because of poverty where suna yadda wayannan abubuwan suna faruwa da su. Poor access to economic resources, political socialization. Let's move forward. So how do you understand factors? I've already explained them. Why we have violence against women and girls, because there's marital discord. There's this model that talks about who you are determines how you are affected by violence. The relationships you are into, the one Catholic, the community you belong, because if the community does not give information, does not condemn these type of things, and they are still using those patriarchal norms or gender stereotypes, we continue to have cases of violence against women. And then it's type of society, what is available for people who have victims. Are they penalized? Is the system very strong or they keep quiet? So all these things affect one's it can affect the likelihood of you being a victim of violence. Can we move on to the next slide? Next slide, please. Okay, I don't know if we have time for a case study, or we should move. We're almost going to the end. I need them to do something seriously. Can I move on to the next slide? I don't think we have time because look, they are tired of sitting. I don't know if there's a break. Icebreaker. No, let's move to the next slide. This is for the these are just the things that continue to allow this type of violence to happen. Male privilege, male inheritance. Some of the effects is that actually male inheritance that women cannot inherit. In some communities, women cannot inherit. It's a type of violence against the woman. It means the woman may not have a right to farm, to land, access to land, to farm, and make money. And she may be a widow. I mean, she's a widow because it's inheritance. Even girls are not even allowed to inherit in some communities. So it affects their economic dependence. Then the male have privilege because they are the ones taking decision. They don't invite the women to be part of it. And so they may not be able to decide on issues very well because it is who he is feeling the pain that knows how he's feeling. So men will just take decision on things they imagine will help the women. But if you bring women, they can be able to change it. Then men as protectors, because men feel they, we have been socialized, thought that men should protect women, they should be strong. So it's affecting men who are unable to carry out this role very well. So they become depressed. They are psychologically affected too, and it affects what they do, how they do it. It may even affect their work. It may affect how they take care of the family. So we are not thinking about it as because we are giving men a big burden. If we share this burden between the man and the woman, they can easily carry that burden. But because it is on one side like this is man carrying the heavy load, the woman is up here. So they become psychologically affected, become depressed. A lot of men just drop dead because they've been affected, they are depressed, they don't know what to do, and they cannot voice it out. Then we're talking about position for men and for women. Then I talked about boy-child preference. Give example of myself, how they used to think that girls won't do anything, and I'm happy that we the girls that my mother gave birth to, we've been able to prove to those people that they are boys. And unfortunately for them, their boys disappointed them because they are wayward. They are not helping them. Well, we are the ones that are progressing. And so they are now beginning to see the value of boys and girls. And you know that some people, when they go and do scan and they see that it's a girl, they will abort that pregnancy. That's why I say it affects people even before birth. They call it infanticide. There are new forms of femicide, killing women in some societies where deliberately they are killing women. Can I have? But this one about killing unborn child when they understand it's a girl, because the man will not even agree. If say there are some men, the soldier ask me to my daughter watch girl again. Say you have also asked me. So some of the negative uh, practices that we've talked about them. Let me see the one that child marriage is the first children to get married. I know that it's a controversial issue, even in Kaduna State, because the Child Welfare and Protection Law said a girl below 18 should not marry, but that under, if she's a Muslim, she must have attained puberty. Let me tell you, that puberty, because of advancements, it starts very early. My daughter, immediately she was 10 years old, she started menstruating. If you see her, she's bigger than me. Oh.
Yes.
She's bigger than me
In size.
in size. So you carry 10-year-old because he has attained puberty and married. There was a case I did of forced marriage some years ago. That girl, she was, maybe she's like 11, but she's tiny, very tiny, no breast. The father wanted her to marry one man older than himself. Oh. The girl, tell her why I said, "How good? Look at the case, I forgot it. The father, they married. He couldn't believe where how and school he did. Say, "Hello." Look at ah. ne da boye because they were looking for her once an sa mata lalle a tafi da ita sai ce ta je da boye ya kawo police aka ana ta neman ta ba su san inda ta boye ba sai muka gudu muka je muka samu alkali muka ce mishi siyo if care doesn't take once sun samu yarinyar nan an tafi da ita we can't do anything sai ranar as God will have it sai gashi ne ya zo kotu shi ma ya zo ya confirm wani gaskiya ne an suyi nashi sai da muka gan shi sai muka ce gashi nan sai alkali ya kira shi ya ce wannan aure cannot happen shi alkali yana da yan mata none of them have gotten married before 17 ya ba su gama makaranta sai ce you will not allow this to happen sai ya ce ba alkali where will this girl go mama ta kare su her brother suna zuwa school har da islamiyya ita ba ta yin komai ba ta zuwa islamiyya ba ta zuwa makaranta shi ya sa babanta ya ɗauka ta zai yana so ya dispose kusa maza ba sa son me ake kira bonding what do you call responsible knowing so sai we saw this sa ta aure sai ya ce ma alkali if you allow this girl where will she go they will catch her and marry her like that baba yana ce an kudi da an spending sai muka ce na ke an ba kudi ta ce a'a kai ne kana gaba kudi kana kaso da yarinya and you are talking of the money that has been spent which kai ne kai sai na ce ma alkali we need to place her somewhere safe either she cannot follow me as a Christian ba su yadda ba sai wa'yansu da suna kotu wani lawyer sai ce give me this girl I'll put her in school, she'll be going to Islamia, I'll take care of her. That's how the court gave that girl to that man. Yace kuma they should not marry her until after puberty and to ita ne zata ce ga wanda na yarda zan aura and that was what happened. So child marriages or forced marriages, denial of women su je asibiti. Akwai wa'yansu culture sai a ce wai to show that you are a strong woman ba za ka haihu a asibiti ba sai yan tarzoma da kuna kira angozoma sai a ba su yi ta yi jin zafi a gida su ji zafi they may have complication ku ba su je ana awo su a gane abin da sauri a yi magani sai a ki sai mutum ya yi iyo har wani lokaci bayan su suna mutuwa or they have complication there are some of the things that happen women inheritance from cultures it still happens. Reasoning is good so that you'll continue supporting the wife, but sometimes it's not matter what they rather. Kuma wani lokaci rivalry with demands women and then mutu ya mutu kuma akwai wani culture da ake sa mata na go that is not healthy. Wani ma a ce za su fita ba sai an yi wata shida ko menene there are so many cultures that are happening I don't call my approval FGM female genital mutilation actually where I hear now but I'm not sure where so they are doing it in secret sai su ce ana cire belu da wani abu where I cire wani dan abu why are you removing it God made it if it is so a je asibiti a yi surgery ba wai za a yi a gida ba ne then ana blaming mata wai su ne they are blamed for infertility or even for giving birth to girls so say they abuse the woman psychologically ana ta mata zagi ana ta gori and not help her at all so these are some types of negative gender practices that affect women and girls that may be in your community that are affecting the lives. I don't want to go deeply into how they affect their health because it affects their health. Some die, some they get broken limbs, and so many other things. And then some okay, when on command break is very very rampant. Can I have the next slide? So we talked about this on the next slide. So why are we talking to you, mother? The mother, because you are crucial partners that should be looking at how we can reduce this epidemic. This epidemic is more than some of the sicknesses that we can say to Anna saying COVID-19, the why they because the people are affected are in millions.
Yes.
So you can help to reduce gender inequality and discrimination of women, girls, and other people. Then boys and men are affected by gender socialization. Yanda aka kuka taso din nan is affecting you, and so you also have to think, what do we retain? What do we stop practicing? If they are not beneficial, you and you can change them because we have seen over time again some of these practices. Gender attitudes, behaviors are power dynamics. Also in intimate and sexual relationships are formed from early age. So we are talking to you because you can talk to your friends, you can talk to your peers, you can talk to your parents so that they can stop the way they are socializing. So the socialization, especially, no matter another one can help. Matter they are suna koya ma na mace from ba sai a ji a mata dori ta fara dafa tuwon kasa. Maza ma kuma a koya musu dafa abinci. Kamar kuma za ku zo kun ce a'a ba a so a ga namiji a kicin. It will not help because yaron ku zai fita ya je wani gari. Iya je makaranta ma maybe zai je NYSC. Dan da zuwa buka ne yana cin abinci kullum. Shi ma ya koya wannan abubuwan. Kada ku koya musu maza a top ku rika koya musu faɗa. A saya musu bindiga. Maza sai a saya musu bindiga suna ku the ball. That socialization begins from that early age. We need to change them. And women alone cannot do it. We need men and boys. So we can promote behavioral change in men and boys through the identification and promotion of positive notions of masculinity. What makes you a man may not just be to be beating somebody and to be tough. There are other ways you can show that you are a man. You can be gentle and still be a man. But I don't say gentleman, gentleman. So being gentle, being tough is good, but you shouldn't use it negatively. It is important to influence this early interventions to stimulate reflection and develop skills on how you can do that to promote healthy and harmonious coexistence. Can we move to the next slide? I think this is where I want you people to now tell us how you are going to. I don't know if you have time. If you don't have, you can do a plenary. How can you intervene if you hear or you see, or as a father or a brother, how are we going to change these notions so that we can address cases of violence against women? Quickly. Counseling, okay. Who is taking it down? We are doing it in plenary now. Counseling. How the men and so you are going to counsel. Are you in a school or you counsel your neighbors or your friends? Who said so? Okay, how are you going to do that?
I do it in my school.
Okay.
Yes.
So you counsel, you can even form clubs in your school. I don't know what they call them. I don't want to say this club because I used to this club. You can form a club in the school so that you can bring boys and girls to come and talk about healthy relationships. It's because there's no time. Like for schools, you can talk about healthy relationships. If a boy approaches a girl and the girl says no, you should respect. No means no. No, I can say, if women mean yes when they say no, carry on. violence. Yes.
To me, I will report it to the higher authority that they should take proper action.
So higher authority means you need to know who to report. So higher authority may mean Meagua, it may mean security agencies. And I like what he said because when Ensu was not really report, right? So I did to Roko as I check any cover. But also, when Ensu, so I did to Roko, Ensu reports what will come out of it. Because if they report, there's what we call community, I call it community conspiracy. In the sense that, I'm going to say, an kama yaron malam a ya wace su zo suna roƙon su ce ai sun shayi wanda su ce ai wannan family man ne fa an kulle shi what will become of his family ita wannan da aka mata fyaɗe ita ba mutum ba ne sai su je su fara roƙa sai ya fitar da 100,000 naira a yafe magana. That is not fair at all. It is not fair on her because it can affect her for life. And I always give you the story of a girl who died because of rape. Psychological torture. Because I threatening that at school, I raped it at but she couldn't say. Second, I got ta kama ciwo ba a gane ciwo din ba an kai ta asibiti an kwantar da ita an yi gwaji they couldn't find any health what was affecting what was wrong with her but she was dying. It was at the point of mutuwa sai ta faɗa ma doctor what has happened. Unfortunately, her father had stepped out. By the time he came back, she had already died. Now told them she was raped. Psychologically, that was what was affecting her. She died. So when people, because they are not the one affected, it is happening to this person's daughter. Say ku tara, and say, I put the good on me and go. Say ku don't put me and go. You say what? I have a one number again. That is community conspiracy. Don't be part of it. It can be your sister, it can be your mother, because grandmothers and raping that it affects them. And don't allow it. Report these things. Let the authorities, because you don't know who else, who have a worship, but you say how many other people they be. New people are just what they call aiding the person to be doing it, and it's not fair. Yes, another way we can address violence against women and girls. Yes, we they are thinking. It means let's hear from you.
Okay.
Every mistake will count to them. If you cannot even think right now how we can do this.
It's good for us to teach them to know their right. Once they know their right, they're able to reveal any secret that is affecting them, only that is affecting them.
Okay. And I like that answer because if you tell them about their rights, they will be able to know that they can report when it happens. They should assure them that they will give them support. And there are different ways they can support them. So if they know their rights, they know what to do. But it also goes to the way you are interacting with them, especially parents. There are some parents, they are not attentive. Like this woman I said I heard on radio today, she was attentive to the daughter. That the daughter was finding it difficult to be there. She now went to grab her, she checked and saw through the vagina has been, there are wounds there. But if you are the person who doesn't care, you don't even talk with your children, they will not tell you. If you are not close with them, they don't have confidence that if they tell you this will happen, it will happen to them. And so that's why, and I know there's a lot of things that culture teach people. Don't say it, don't go and tell your secrets to other people. Like women, man, they'll tell you don't go and share your secrets with people outside. All these things they affect. So people should know that if they don't talk, they will die, or the perpetrator will continue and will not address the issue. So any other one, so other this, know their rights, know who they can meet, even if they can't talk to their parents, there should be somebody they can talk to. Like in schools, some of the schools, is the teachers that are able to identify abused children. Children who are being abused at home. It could be they are beating them, it could be they are denying them food. The way they come dressed, they will see them dirty and other things. They are not taking good care of them. All these things, so people can identify. So even if you are a neighbor, it is not that you are being nosy, I mean, what is it called? Busybody. But we are going to save lives. And we need to teach parents who are negligent that even if you don't care about your child, the government does, because there are laws that say they should take care of them. Any other any other way you can use to address this issue. And I've mentioned some of them here today. You will have to think, okay, madam, for being here, tell us what you can do to address violence against women and girls. Let's hear from you, women. Since the men don't want to talk, it means you want me to continue. Awareness. So awareness on what now? Okay. Okay. So awareness. So like what I talked about, these gender norms, so that if the way women are raising their children, they can stop it. I mentioned you can stop this saying buying only gun and ball for your boys. You can buy them things that both boys and girls can do. You can teach your boys to cook, swim, and do other things, to respect women. You can teach the girls to learn how to do other things that the boys can do. And then also you can sensitize them on the dangers of danger to look out on if people are being abused, all these violence, the types, and what to do. Because there are some like rape, you have to report immediately. They have to go to hospital. They have to do tests. If you don't report, if you are not able to have a medical report to show that the person was raped, you can't even prove the case again. I know getting who did it is important, but you must prove that there was rape, and that can be proved through medical reports. And then if they report immediately, they can even prevent some diseases from pregnancy. There are some drugs they can take to prevent sexually transmitted diseases, to prevent pregnancy. If you go within that day and even the next day, there are some, I think 48 hours, mommy, 48 hours, there are some drugs that 48 hours you can take to prevent some things from happening. So if you sensitize people to know about it, it can help. But I want the young men to tell us what they will do. Young men, they are giving you free teaching here, but you don't want to do. You don't know that from here you can go to the international scene talking about violence against women and girls. Being champion, I thank God Mayaki is a he for she. He is a he for she fighting for the rights of women and girls. You won't say that we will just round up because my time is out. But before we go that, can you tell us some of the challenges you may face if you are to do this work? Because it's not easy. They'll see a man talking about women, girls, violence. It may be a very challenging task. So what type of challenges do you foresee you get? Anybody? Or there will be no challenge at all? Yeah, so what type of challenge do you think you may face if you take up this campaign? Yes, sir. Since they are not going to talk, you hear from him.
Yeah.
My name is Adu Abdullahi.
Yes, sir.
Like you said, community conspiracy.
Okay.
That
So the community may refuse to cooperate with you. So if the community refuses, is to report to the authorities. We have various authorities. We have the security agencies. They have gender desks like civil defense, the police. They have gender desks. You can report. There is even a number. Mendy, come here. Mendy. Yes, this number. This number, you can call this number and report. If you don't want to know you are the one, they will call your name. You report and say so happened, and they are hiding it or they are compromising the case. They will take action immediately. They will either reach out in case you think they drive the security in your command division. They have Oga in Kaduna. They have gender desk officer and the police, civil defense. Their Ogas are in Kaduna. The commissioner, the commandant, they are all in Kaduna. We can take up the case from there. And there are other people that can help. They can support with medical help. They can do a lot of things. That's how you can take care of that challenge. Any other challenge, you don't want them to call you no matter. Okay?
like this issue now.
Yes.
If you are working in the community, you have to get the right information because it will affect you as a person that will report if you're not giving the
Right.
exactly information.
Okay,
So even the number we are seeing there, if you want to call, just take your time and do the
Get it.
investigation
Okay.
and get the information before reporting.
Okay, thank you. That's a good one. So you do some small investigation so that when they ask you questions, you can give something that will help them to um, take up the case. Any other one? Yes, sir. You can see that only 3 people are talking. Are you going to give them those people who didn't talk? There's no right or wrong answer. You are being given the opportunity to learn, to talk, and to help our community, and you are just keeping quiet. I think if you are having any other activity, you don't bring these people again. We have only seen the ones that are talking. You can engage them. Yes.
At the end of the day, if you're not careful, people will end up calling you with different names.
So you don't want
No matter
no matter
or different names that in fact be provoke at the end of the day, you keep your work in the right thing.
let me tell you, there was a time we didn't have a man in the House of Assembly in Kaduna. So there was one former speaker. That time he was the chairman committee of women. So in the house, in fact, it's only last election they have a woman. The other time there was no woman, so it was men. They used to call them as a Namata, and does that make you a woman? Calling you Namata does not make you. Namata means they are saving lives. Are you working for them or working for God? Are you working to save life or you are afraid to be called names? I know it's a big challenge, that will discourage people. But please don't be discouraged. What you need to do is for people to understand. If you start sensitization, you can start explaining to them the negative impact of these things so that you can buy them over. So one of the things you can think about going now is go and do sensitization. Tell them that this thing is not helping us. It's bringing us back. Let's see how we can reduce it. So if you buy them in, they will stop calling these names and going forward. You look forward. Can we have the last? This is what you can do. I don't know. friends, you can go and talk to your friends, talk with your friends, especially those ones that are even doing these things. Tell them it's not good. They should consider if they are the ones who come. So let me tell you, boys, young boys now are victims of homosexuality. A lot of them, if you go, in fact, if you take the statistics, they are keeping quiet about it, and they are being their own. The impact on boys and men is as deadly as girls. You see, for girls, if the girl is raped, it's either she gets STD, she gets pregnant, or she dies or something. The boys, especially as they are using the eggs to penetrate them, that sperm doesn't have anywhere to go. Let me tell you, it will remain there and turn into worms. It will turn into worms and be moving in their eggs. And anytime they move like this, they have the urge. They will go and look for somebody to also rape another man. And they are raping them from 3, 4, 5. If you go small children, in fact, there was one boy, we caught somebody, they reported them, they were raping 9, 11, 12, and these children were also doing it to other smaller children. We caught the person who initiated it. I was pitying him because he was a victim also. He was raped in school. Now he's raping these small boys. These small boys are initiating smaller boys. And he told me they have even an association in Kaduna. They meet on Saturday in one primary school in Sabo and this thing. They're a big group and it's affecting them because they also get HIV. They cannot stop the thing. And the people who are doing, there are some big people too who are powerful. Even if you report them, they will go out. So it's affecting this thing. So you can think, you can talk to your friends, you can talk to your parents, you can talk to the religious leaders, you can talk to many people. You take action. How you do it, I would love if people can sit down either individually or as a group. 2, 3 people, yes, to talk about how you do this, what you are going to take, because bringing you here, you have to do something with it. They will follow you up to find out what you have done, because the people who gave money for it, they will come here to do evaluation. They will come and ask you, they talk to you about this, what did you do with it? If you say you didn't do anything, they will not be happy. But they want to hear that we went and sensitized these people. We got some people who said we will stop doing it, but we got people to say stop doing this, and they started reporting the cases and they are taking care of it. Lastly, I'll talk about some of the existing actions that you can take. Next slide, please. What you can do, you can suggest other ways, like I said, that men should behave. That is very positive and healthy. You can preach about if it is something to do with you are not happy, a dispute, you don't have to go physical to resolve it. You can think of non-confrontation, non-violent ways of resolving conflict. Between siblings, brothers and sisters, between father and mother, between husband and wife, neighbors, so that they don't have to be very violent. Then you can provide aid to people who have been affected by violence. You can provide counseling, you can report. There are some that they need even a shelter. And we even have a shelter, we have 2 shelters provided by Kaduna State government. They are for women, but there's also this other place they keep all these children in conflict with the law. They can take the boys there. But if there's a woman or a girl and they feel that she's not safe again in that community or environment, they can take her to the shelter. And the shelter, they can teach her some economic skills so that when she comes out, she can take up a trade. Then you can provide reproductive and sexual health education for everybody so that they know what to do. Because those people who prevent women or girls from going to hospital, from doing family planning, There are some forms of violence because they have negative impacts. Provide basic emotional support, provide information. A lot of you said about violence and facilitate referral to other people. So you can refer them to the security agencies, you can refer them to NGOs or to governments, you can refer them to the sexual assault and referral center. That's where you can get, they'll do testing for you free of charge, except the testing kits are not are out of stock. They'll do it for you free of charge. You'll get a medical report that will help to build up your case when you go to court. They can also refer you to other people that can provide legal services. And then you can get even people to support to make sure that they don't sweep the case under the carpet, especially if it is with the security agency. These are some of the things I'm suggesting you can take up and do from this one. You can provide information. You have the phone number to call. If you call the number, they will tell you the appropriate agency or NGO or people that can handle those issues. I think I'm done. Let's see the conclusion. Gender is not the same as sex, gender, roles, attitudes. By society, sex is biological differences. Gender influences negative practices and unequal power relations. However, society is changing and the roles and status of women are changing with it. When talking about women, it is important to remember women are people with potentials and limitations just like men. It's time to pause and consider the status of women and men in today's society and the values of the roles they hold. If those values are not helping, let's think about discarding them. Men and boys can change things for healthier relationships and a better society. So thank you very much. I know I've taken my time. I have to rush. Gender alone, you can do a whole week doing gender. I have to rush and do them. I didn't want to take your, and I know we were short the wrong way.
All right, so give a red clap. Red clap. Who is the red clap? Wait, let me try. If I can remember. So we go like this.
Shower.
And I tried it, I forgot it. All right, so thank you very much, man. You've done justice to the whole gender thing. You know why some people are finding it cool? They are beginning to think in their head. They are like, Niba, a ce zo da yara a gida. Haba, matan nan ba, wai me ne take a magana haka? That's why some of them are quiet. And they don't want to be the one that will give answer. Gobe a ji a gani su ce, ba ranar kai ka ba da amsa haka ne. A gane, kai ka ce wannan laifi ne. So anyway, thank you, yes, before we move to the next thing, akwai mai tambaya, at least let's, any question for her? Akwai mai tambaya wanda akwai abin da ta yi magana ba ku gane ba, ko kuna neman wani ƙarin bayani. All right, Mbawu. Amma kuma mun san cewa wannan abubuwa da aka faɗa suna faruwa a gwamnati. Suna nan a gwamnati. Yanzu da mun sani me za mu abin da za mu shiga kenan. Nan gaba za mu shiga me za mu yi a gwamnati don cewa rage yi wannan abubuwa. So I'll call on Madam Juliana just before Ogana Shehu will take us to the next task so that she can just share little experiences to back what our barrister has told us for the past 40 minutes. Thank you, ma'am. And that means you will be moving to the center. Just
Abin da ya sa an kawo wannan training din don ana so in ka ga wani abu ka yi menene ka yi wani abu. In ba ka yi wani abu ba, to wani abu zai faru. Akwai lokacin da muka yi training, sai ɗaya daga cikin ma'aikata a sai ya sata box, conference box sai ya je ya boye. Ya je ya boye a sai wani yana ganin shi, sai ya je ya kwashe. An yi can sai an gashi yana ta nema, an ce wani menene kana nema? Sai ya ce mutum ba zai yi wani abu ba, sai wani ya je ya yi wani abu, sannan sai ya je ya yi wani abu. Akwai ansa a ciki? Wannan abin da kun gan an kawo a nan, kuɗin da aka kashe don a yi muku wannan wayar da kai ba karamin kuɗi ba ne, saboda me? Saboda yana da illa da yawa. Zan ba ku misali abin da ya faru a garin nan. Kun taɓa ji ma'aikatan nan da ana kira Salama Center a Bauna a Wanko, akwai a Bauna a Wan, akwai a Tudun Wada, akwai a Zaria, akwai a Kafancan. Muna nan muna zama sai aka kawo muna yarinya mai shekara 2. Menene ya faru? Ubanta ne ya yi mata fyaɗe. Me ya faru? Mahaifiya yarinya nan ta rasu. Da ta rasu sai yarinya tana kwana da kakanta. Sai ranar sai uban ya ce, ai shi yana so da kwana yarinya dotar shi ta kwana da shi. Yarinya ta je ta kwana. Washe gari aka tashi. Yarinya za ta yi fitsari sai ta ce, ina nan yana zafi. Me ya faru ba ta ce komai ba. Da nasa ya sake ya ce, ai shi yana so yarinyar shi ta kwana da shi. An ce kuma ina nan yana zafi. Sai uwa ta ce, kai, wannan abin da za a yi zan kai ka asibiti. Kuna da ɗan asibiti a nan ko? Sai aka kai ta asibiti. Da an kai ta asibiti, Allah ya sa ma'aikaciyan wannan asibiti mun riga mun wayar musu da kai yadda za su yi. Sai suka ce a kawo yarinyar a can a Kankuri aka kawo ta. Me ya faru? Aka tambaye ta, menene wani ne yana taba miki nan? Sai ta ce babanta ne. A ina ne yana yi? Sai ta ce in sun je su kwanta haka yake yin mata. Haka ne sai aka ce aka tambaye uba sai kai yayi haka. Aka gwada shi aka taras yana da kanjamau a sai dama kanjamau ne ya kashe uwan shi yana shan magani ya hana matan tana shan magani. These are the gender issues. Matan ba ta shan magani sai kanjamau ya kashe ta sai aka bar shi. Sai ya da kuma a kan diyan. Da aka gwada yarinyar ita ma ga shi iya ta kamu da kanjamau. Yarinya mai shekara 2 gaya mini yaya rayuwa ta zai kasance. Da aka tada magana sai aka ce a bari fa ai magana nan za a dawo da shi a yi shi a cikin gida ba haka ba asiri zai tono. Akwai tona asiri da ya riga ya fi abin da ya yi. Abin da ya yi wanda ya halice shi ya gani ko bai gani ba. Abin da ya yi ya dace ko bai dace ba. Abin da ya yi ya kawo bakin ciki ko bai kawo ba. Bai lalata da rayuwar wata ba. Ta lalata da rayuwar wata. Saboda haka in ka gan wani abu ka yi wani abu to za ka iya ka cice rai. Na biyu, matar da tana taimako na aiki a cikin gida. A cikin watan nan da muna ciki da yana gamawa, ta zo aiki rana wanda ta ce, wance yaya sai ta ce lafiya. to tana da ɗaya cido yarinyar nan kaɗai take da sai na ce ya juwa sai ta ce momi na ce sai ta ce Allah ya taimake ni na ce da me sai ta ce da yau ba juwa sai na ce kamar yaya sai ta ce ranar juma'a da na tashi a nan na je in ɗauki yarinya sai na je sai aka ce mini wani zai ɗauke ta ba ya aka yi wani ya zo ya ɗauke ta kuka yada aka fara tambaya wannan mace wannan ne principal na makaranta ya zo ya ce wai ai da mutumin ya zo sai ka ga yarinya ta yi gudu ta je ta gaishe shi ta saba da shi sai ta ce sai uwa ta ga kuka ta ce to ya mutumin yake sai aka yi describing din shi sai ta ce wacce kila wani ne amma inda nuna so ku dawo da hankalinku shine a sai ya dauke yarinya har an rigiya an yi cinikin yarinya za a biya miliyan 2 kusan akwai masu siyan yaya ko to ku yi hankali da yayanku ku koya musu wani ya kira su kada su yarda su bi shi har an rigiya an yi ciniki yarinya za a ba da miliyan 2 amma me ya faru wani yana nan yana kallon abin da ke faruwa a je a dawo yarinya kuma ta zauna tana kuka ta ya je ya samu ya ce kai me ya sa yarinyar nan tana kuka ko tana so ta ga mamanta tana so ta ga mamanta da kuka ɗauke ta me ya sa ba ku kai ta gida ba kuka kawo ta nan ina mamanta wanda sun zo siya yarinya sun riga sun yi ciniki sai suka tafi aka bar wanda ya kawo yarinya da yarinya a siya sai ya ce ban yarda ba abin da zai sa ka tashi a nan da yarinyar nan kai kaje sai aka je aka kira police da aka kira police sai aka ce to tafi makaranta an je an samu wata rigiya ta yi kuka ta galabaita ba ya kuma ita kadai take da sai da aka je sai aka tambaye shi yarinyar nan da ta dauka menene kana so ka yi da ita ya fara sai aka ce bude mashi ido da ya ji duka ya ce ya fito drama ya zo daga abuja ne kwana 3 kenan yana neman yarinya bai samu wanda zai ɗauka ba kuma kusan waye yana son sai da yarinya dan wanda ne da uban shi da ita maman yarinyar da baban da wansu da ya wansu da kun ga na biyu a ina ne kawunta ne kun ga wasifa daga ina ne fito daga cikin gida ko saboda haka wanda zai cuce ka ba daga waje ba ne daga cikin gida ne da aka yi da ya ji duka sai ya ce wai gaskiya dama ya dauke ta ne ya ji kwana 3 yana neman yaro da zai sata ya je siyar bai samu ba sai ya tuna tana a makaranta tunda ya yi sauri ya je ya dauke ta zai siyar to shi ya sa aka yi wannan bita babban makasudi da ya sa an yi wannan bita shine in kun gan wani abu ku ɗauki mataki kada ka ce ba ruwa nan ina san inda kuma mutumin da ya gan su mutumin plateau ne ba abin da ya haɗa shi da mutanen Kaduna amma saboda ya gan wani abu ya yi wani abu sai ya cice yarinyar nan da bai ɗauki mataki ba da an tafi da yarinya an bar ruwa ba ɗaya sannan na uku misali da zan ba ku akwai rikici da aka yi a wata ƙasa da ana kira Rwanda an yi kisa da yawa an yi ba mata fyaɗe da yawa bayan ɗan lokaci sai BBC suka yi documentary wato sun je sun bi labari ko su ji abin da ya faru sai aka tara mata da yawa an yi musu fyaɗe sai aka samu wannan matan ba tsohuwa ba bata riga ta wuce shekarun haihuwa ba amma gaskiya inda so samu ne ba za ta samu ba da aka je aka same ta aka tambaye ta me ya faru sai ta ce fyaɗe aka yi mata da an yi mata fyaɗe sai ta yi ciki da ta yi ciki sai ta ce shi ne sai na haifi wannan abu wato yaron kenan kisa, an yi fyaɗe, akwai matsaloli da dama da suka biyo baya. Na ɗaya, ba ta yi shiri ta haifi yaro nan ba, kuma da ka shiri ta haifi yaro za ta haifa da miji. Na biyu, ba ta samu yaron a hanyar da take so ba. Kun san da da ta yi lokacin ta ce ya kamata mutum ya yarda ko? To tambayan nan. Matan nan da gani ta yadda aka yi mata interview, ka san ba za ta dade ba don ta riga ta shiga depression. Za ta mutu ko? In an bar yaron ba zai rene shi. Wannan mini yaron ya zama menene a bainin jama'a? Zai da iska ko? Mugun iri ko? To, mu da muna zama a nan, idan mun taɓa barin mugun iri, mu sani jama'a ba za su yafe mana ba. Duk wanda ya taɓa ya yi fyaɗe yana zama nan ya bar mugun iri. Domin yaron nan da ka bari, in an haife shi, kuna ce inkiya ko? Ba shi da inkiya. Duka abin da Bahaushe yake nufi da inkiya ko? Ba shi da inkiya. Wane da zai rike shi? Ko ina ya shiga za a ce shege dan banza, kuma ba shi ne ya so ya zama shege. Saboda haka ku gani, ku da kuna zama a nan kuna da babban muhimmanci ku canza zamantakewa da ake yi a cikin jama'a. In ka gan ana yin abin da bai dace ba, kwaɓe, ka gargadas, ka koyar, domin baka sani ba yadda ka cice na wani, haka Allah zai sa wani ma ya cice naka. Sai a sa mutum, kada ku gani kamar muku da tatsuniya ne. A'a, a Kaduna ne, ina tsammani yawanci yaran da suna zuwa kidnapping. Kun san yadda aka haife su? Kun san irin mutane da suke suna barin kuna yin bacci? Haka an so rayuwa ta kasance? To ya kamata lokaci ya yi da mu da kanmu za mu zauna mu tambaye kanmu menene ya kamata mu yi don mu hana ci gaba da gingimin nan da ana samu a ciki. Domin ba wanda ya riga ya ci ba. Duk lokacin da an yi fada gefen nan za su mutu, gefen nan za su mutu. Nan za su yi asara, nan za su yi asara. Da ina amfani wannan? Saboda haka ya kamata mu ga yadda rayuwa cikin jama'a yake a samu canji domin mu yi walwalar da ya kamata mu yi kowa ya ji daɗin zaman rayuwa. Allah ya taimake mu.
Mun gode. Mun ji dai yanzu wannan experience ko mun ya sa za mu fi ganewa abubuwa da aka yi na farko ko. So yanzu zai kira shi wanda ana ce he for she. Ina ke? He for she. Yawwa. He for she. Na miji ne amma ya ce yana son mata aiki.
Thank you very much. Jama'a assalamu alaikum. Sunana Suleiman Shehu mai yaki. Ni jami'in tsaro ne, ina aiki da Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Ni memba ne na He for She Network. Wato suke ba da muryansu don ɗaukaka harka na mata. Da mai ya ce zarafinsu ba, ba yadda ce bai kamata a ce su je karatu ba, ko kuma yanci dai abin da ya shafi mata mu muna nan muna tare da shi. Da fatan Allah ba mu san haka. Amma kafin mu ci gaba, ina son mu dan tsaya mu dan miƙe. Muna son mu yi countdown daga 10, muna son mu yi countdown zuwa ƙasa. Ina son mu yi shi yadda nake yi. Za mu fara da dama, muka kirga 10, sai mu dawo da wannan, sai mu kirga 9, sai mu dawo da kafan dama, sai mu kirga 8, sai mu dawo haka, sai mu kirga 7, sai mu ƙara komawa haka.
har mu yi ƙasa. Bari da fatan za mu yi yadda ya kamata, fara ganin yadda zai yi. Kirgan za mu yi da Hausa ne ko mu yi da Turanci? Da Hausa.